It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. In true Halloween fashion, we have decided to dress up as some of your favorite googly Salemites. I present to you the Salem Stalker, here to slash and slay all those residents of Salem and take them to a brand new Salem called Meliswin. Wait, that was the stalker, right? Yeah, that was the one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And who else do we have?
You have Stefan in a black t-shirt with his Italian liqueur, which is just a coincidence that I had a drink this color today. I could also be... If we want to go like Halloween, I could say like I'm the death of Brandon Barash's contract.
Oh. Bum bum bum.
It's too soon.
But Joan Rivers said it's never too soon. Well, never too soon.
Unfortunately, the end of his contract, I should say it like that.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later. Who else do we have?
We have a makeshift Medusa Marlena, and like there's literally one photo on the internet to prove it.
I love that you had to show the photo to make sure people understood.
And I am Dr. Blake Lamore, aka Seth Burns, aka Bruce Beatty. I've just been getting a kick out of this character. I think before he was sort of stiff and it was just a foil for the show and for Kayla. But I don't know, the past couple of weeks, ever since they've expanded his character, I've just been getting a kick out of him. So yeah, this is a salute to Dr. Blake Lamore, aka Seth Burns.
And there you have it, folks. Your favorite Salem residents ready to spill all the tea about all the shenanigans that have happened in Salem this week. But of course, if you would like to follow us on all social media platforms, we are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are watching us live and in living color, go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit that bell notification. That way, you'll never miss when we're going live or when we upload a video. And if you so dare, you can also become one of our exclusive members where we'll be posting tons of new content for our members only. That is $4.99 a month. And let me tell you, you get a lot of good stuff. So sign up. Make sure you check out the welcome video as well as our first virtual happy hour with our members, explaining exactly what you get with your membership. And trust me, it's a lot. We're doing a lot over here. Speaking of doing a lot, make sure you take us on your long walk, or if you're stuck in traffic, or if you're pumping iron in the gym, or if you're taking a nice stroll through the town of Lisbon. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast station. We are Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just type in Dishin, that's without the G, Days, and we'll tag along with you. Your four gaggle of gals. Also, make sure you show some love to our favorite former co-host and my chocolate twin, Mr. James Lott Jr. over at JLJ Media, who was serving up a couple of plates, spoons, forks of his own. Check out a recap of Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, and General Hospital, along with some original audio dramas, because my good friend James is the only person old enough to remember when Jesus dressed up for Halloween.
That seems very contrary.
He dressed up as Jesus.
Okay.
I feel like that silence is what we usually give Araceli. But make sure you check out JLJ Media on YouTube and where all podcasts can be found. And if you're joining us live in our chat, make sure you let us know what you're thinking. You may see your comments posted, or if you're watching later, comment below. I promise you, we'll get to them. Now, my googly Salemites, what did we think of this week's episode? Oh, well, before we get into it, hello, Me World. Thank you for joining us. So sorry that you're late. You were setting up Johnny for an appointment with his eye doctor to get his prosthetic eye battery replaced. It doesn't see color anymore. This is all true. And we'll definitely get to that.
Not color.
What did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
I enjoyed this week for the most part. It
Yeah.
was pretty solid week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
really good week.
For the body and soul of it all, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't hate the body and soul stuff because it was surrounding
Yes.
real life drama and
because
not.
it wasn't actually body and soul.
Now they
Yeah.
still had to put in some wink wink BS, but I overlooked it because of the other stuff going on.
Yeah, I think this week is a perfect example of how to use it. Use it in service of plot lines and use it as a work set primarily.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought this week was really good. It was very interesting. I was very entertained
Mhm.
all this week. Very entertained. I loved it. Well, speaking of things we love Days of Our Lives, and we love you all. So let's break it on down, everybody. It's our favorite time of the show where we try to say this all together at once. It is now time to start Dishin Days. Well, we were close. All right. We are kicking things off with our first storyline, which is Joy to Salem. A Wesley has come.
This is a character I've been wanting on the show for years.
This is a character that I just remembered existed.
This is a character whose age I couldn't figure out and had to Google. And sorry, in actual time, there was a loud bang outside my apartment. Don't know what it was.
Are your doors
bang.
locked?
Yes, my doors are.
Okay.
My doors are always locked.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But anyway, no. So I had to Google, and she is 21 years old, like in real time. She was born in March of 2003, which makes the character 21 and change already. Because I was confused and maybe I'm just old now, and 21 doesn't look like she doesn't look 21. She looks more like older teen years to me, but that just could be because I'm old, and now that age just looks younger than it used to. But and then the dynamics between her and Nancy seemed very teenager parent and not like a 21-year-old but I like having Patrika back, I like having Nancy back, and the dynamic between the two was fun to watch.
Yeah, I think chronologically she's 20, but I feel like they're going for mid-20s with her. I feel like
No.
to match her up with Johnny and Chanel, just because the way she ordered the beer and it was very casual, and I feel like they're trying to pair them in that group. So yeah.
Can I just say, before we do a deeper dive into it, shout out to Marnie and Bob for amazing casting of Joy. She is literally like a mini Nadia Bjorn.
Yes, it's scary.
She is giving like Ghoul Girl realness. She is giving like her eyes are like it's so believable that she is the daughter of Nancy and Craig, which is like ridiculous. So
she's even got the 90s genes to prove it.
Yeah. So shout out
I have issues with the teenage fashions or the young people's fashions of today, and everything has to be 3 sizes too big
or 3 sizes too small.
I mean, listen, it's fashion.
I don't like it.
I'm just saying that yes, it's very Chloe 1999.
It is. And when I looked at her, I was just like, oh man, you literally look like Nadia Bjorlin did in the 90s.
It's crazy.
When she was like Ghoul Girl. And her real name is Alex.
Alex Ann.
What is it?
Alex Ann.
Alex
Yes.
Ann Hopkins.
Yes, Alex Ann Hopkins.
Yeah.
That
And
is her.
even
Welcome
her
to Salem.
attitude. Welcome. We love you already. And even her attitude is just she's got the character spot on. For a character that we haven't seen since she was a baby, this is exactly what I thought the Joy Wesley would be. Because of the circumstances of her birth, who her parents are, who her sister is. It was like spot on. Everything I thought that Joy Wesley would be.
But also the other thing that I'm glad they kind of explained was kind of like her angst, and I think that's probably where you get the teenager from. Was she has that teenager angst, but it's for the fact that she was just like, y'all didn't want to have me in the first place, which is true. They only had her because they needed to save Chloe. So imagine like somehow finding that out and being like,
isn't that most people? I mean, like,
well, I like to think
are
that
most people planned? I mean, 100%.
I mean, but it's different when you're when you're a test tube baby, and like there are enough children born now to be like spare parts for their siblings now. Unfortunately, that it's kind of no, they really are. They really are.
One for parts.
They really, unfortunately, there are a lot. I mean, it's kind of such an oversaturated amount of kids at this point that like there's actual science behind it. That they never quite feel like right, which is weird not weird, but weird for Joy specifically, because yes, that was the initial reason why she was conceived, but Chloe was not raised by Nancy and Craig. Joy was.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you sort of got the better deal out of like the childhood than Chloe ever did. Like you're fine. Like yes, you were I don't say. I mean, yes, technically they had you for bone marrow, but it wasn't like they discarded you after Chloe. They got the bone marrow. They were didn't throw you in an orphanage somewhere. Like
no, they loved you. They raised you. They gave you a somewhat happy home until Craig decided to start.
Started messing around with men's.
Yeah.
You had a pretty good life, much better life than Chloe.
Well,
ever
did she? Because we don't know much.
Well, I'm talking about in terms of growing
just
up.
having a mom and a dad.
I'm sure. Yes, I mean
living in a nice home.
Her father was her father was a successful doctor in New York City. She lived in a pretty stable home. I mean, say what you will about Nancy and Craig, but they did love each other. Maybe Craig didn't love Nancy in that way, but she was his best friend, which is the reason that he could have stayed with her for so long.
But I feel like we're assuming though. Like we're assuming
that,
I mean,
we can only that's all we can do.
Like that.
Yes.
Until there's more fleshed out about anything that went on. Yeah, we just kind of have to make assumptions about.
Far from being abused, she had a better life than Chloe did. I mean, come on. Like whatever angst her and Nancy have, like she's winning over her sister.
Oh yeah, big time.
Well, of course, she gets into town all hotsy-totsy and meets a very aggravated Johnny.
We're all disappointed in Johnny.
Well, even though the ring was found, his wedding ring was found in her room, it doesn't necessarily mean that they done did it.
No, as of now, all we know is that he could have just slept there or passed out there and left the ring, or he could have taken it off at the bar. She took it. Like there's a lot of scenarios that could have happened that Joy had that ring in her room. Other than they stooped.
But days days of our lives. I know y'all are 9 months ahead. I hope when y'all created this storyline that y'all did not have Johnny and Joy hook up over this assumption that Chanel and Alex had did it. I think that's the thing that will upset me so much is that, again, we already had a scenario where a couple, one, Stefan, had sex with Ava. So then Gabi had revenge sex with EJ. That one we can accept. We're not going to accept a part 2 of this when Johnny does not have a full reason, except whatever he concocted in his mind, to have want to hook up with someone just because he saw Chanel do it. Like, let's not do the double. Let's not do that.
You know who I blame for all of this? Seth Burns.
Dr. Drake and Rory.
That man, how does that man run a hospital and is as dumb as a box of rocks? Now, I'm with you, Blake or Justin. I'm with you that I'm enjoying it. It's making me giggle. But it is one of those, you kind of get frustrated with him at first. And you're just like, bruh.
But funny thing, I think it shows how vain he is that he doesn't know the other cast members. He just knows himself and his character. And the fact that he saw them rehearsing lines, it was like, oh, she's playing Faith. Not that I need to watch it. And truth be told, the show hasn't aired yet. So unless
there's a whole poster of Alex and Faith.
Yeah. He's not unless he's on it, he's not looking.
No, Stephanie literally said we were in a one-on-one Zoom.
Unless he's not.
He was looking at himself the whole time, making sure he looked good.
He was looking at her in the script. Yeah.
He was on Zoom with the big boxes himself, and everyone else has the little boxes. So
he was looking at himself.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no
one on one is 2 boxes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're looking at the other person's box.
Oh.
But can I just say how embarrassing for everybody and their mama to know?
Oh my God.
That you done did it on set in the hospital room.
Oh my God.
The mortification of it all. Stephanie sometimes looked like she's just like she held it together.
Yeah.
She saved face. But I feel like internally she just wanted to go.
Oh, totally.
Into Homer Simpson.
Out
into the bush. Slowly but surely.
And rightfully so. Like I love Stephanie, but that was, I mean, that very much goes against her sort of professional demeanor, and she has a lot more sense than that. I mean, she totally gave into her urges there, but
Justin, she's also a lady.
I mean, go to the car.
Yes.
Anybody got time to go to the car?
It's it's not comfortable in a car, depending on what kind of car it is.
But that hospital bed was
actually that didn't look very comfortable either.
I was gonna say it, and not to mention most hospital beds are on wheels. That could get dangerous.
Okay. Also, speaking of the Stephanie part of it all, there's such a worry that a sex scandal is going to tarnish the show before it even starts. And I was like, this may be what could catapult the show.
Yeah, right.
Like a sex scandal right off the bat. People are going to be tuned in. Did we learn nothing from Vanderpump Rules and Scandival? Like they had their most success. I think they had their most watched season after Tom
the scandal.
Yeah,
the affair of it all.
Yeah, so a little scandal may not hurt the show. It may be good for the show, but even Kate was like, "This can't get out," and I'm like, maybe I don't know. Maybe it won't hurt.
It does, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here, it's bad enough that she got caught. I mean, she's the PR person. Anybody else, I get, but she's the PR person.
Yeah.
So that's really ridiculous. And I'm gonna throw out a point that nobody has thought of yet, because this person was involved in a different storyline this week. But let's not forget, this is the same hospital where her mother is chief of staff.
And breaks all the rules, has like it does not respect any kind of privacy laws and anything. So I don't know. Honestly, like, love Kayla to pieces. You know,
I'm not talking about what's illegal or immoral or whatever. I'm talking about just embarrassment. Just embarrassment. Mommy, I'm so sorry. I had sex in your hospital.
Well, technically, it's their set.
Kayla's probably are you telling me that back in the day, Patch and Kayla didn't bang in that hospital at least once?
I am not that old.
I mean, hello,
was James Law Jr. question.
It just seems like something that would have happened with them back.
Where did Marlena and John have their affair?
The Titan
boardroom.
Yeah.
On the conference table.
Neither of them worked at Titan. I'm just saying.
No, because there was a party at the Penthouse Grill. The Penthouse Grill was at the penthouse of the Titan offices. They took the elevator down and they banged, and then Sammy came in, and that's what started Hurricane Sammy.
I'm just saying there are a lot of people who have had professional sex unprofessionally in places.
Sex.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying it's different when it's the PR person.
Yeah.
I mean, listen,
and
she's the
PR knows more than I do. Says they never did it in the hospital. So.
She's the PR of the show, yeah, but like, you know, they have like a relationship. What?
I'm just saying there's a lot of hiding places in a hospital. Better than an actual room.
Where else would you have suggested that they have this professional sex at RSL?
There's a lot of empty closets.
Well, I guess we do know that.
Sorry,
didn't Abigail and EJ? Didn't they do it at the hospital?
No, they did it at the gym.
Oh, that was the shower.
Yeah, that was the shower. How do you forget the shower?
No, I remembered the shower, but I thought there was somewhere else where things started.
You could have.
The cabin, but everybody uses the cabin.
I mean, I might have made that up.
Whoever's got to clean that cabin. Hope they get well.
No, but okay, but no. And I'll let me bring this point home on why it was such a bad idea to do it on that set. When Leo said the poor set hand who had to clean up the room, and I was just like, oh no,
like, why is this sticky?
No.
They're like, we need the extra strength Fabuloso to clean this up.
Oh,
not the extra strength Fabuloso.
Oh my gosh!
Jeez Louise.
No.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure all of Salem needs a nice scrub down. So there's that.
Oh my gosh!
But go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, moving on from the Stephanie and Alex part of it, the other part of it, the Johnny and Chanel stuff was Carson and Raven were like fabulous,
really good. Yeah,
like, acting wise, they were fabulous this week.
Yes.
Like Johnny and his angst, Chanel probably wanting to Lorena Bob at him when he called her a slut, which even I took about when he was like, what did he say? You're
a cheating slut.
You're a cheating slut. I was like, oh, and like the look on Raven's face was like the hurt, the anger, and everything, knowing what she was doing to plan this party.
Because let me explain to you what Raven's face said, because Raven was talking black talk. And Raven, Chanel, was very much like she was taken aback, but I think also in her mind, like, I know this MF did not call me a... Did I? You're not talking to me. Mm. That's what her whole face said.
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole, and then when she sauntered out, but he went out first, and they were like, surprise, and he's like looking stupid, and then again, classic black girl talk. Chanel sauntered up and was just like, now don't you feel stupid? stupid. This is what the cheating slut was doing. Oh, I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
He is so lucky that all he got was cake.
Cake in cake
Oh,
in the
but
mouth. Yeah.
and that part was when she picked that up and said, you know, my mother always said, don't talk with your mouth full. I was like, oh. Raven was serving everything I needed in that scene. When I tell you that was a Michael Jackson in Thriller eating the popcorn gif of it all. Like it was everything. And I remember every time we went to commercial, I was always like, oh
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get back to the part. And my favorite part of it all was them continuing to sing Happy Birthday.
They were not reading the situation.
Yes.
They were
just
not
kept
reading the room at all. You could just still say Happy Birthday. And it's like, and they're having this whole dialogue with each other. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is still singing Happy Birthday.
Until they did catch on, then their reactions were great.
Oh,
Jackie and Bonnie.
it was giving Leo at the wedding again.
Yeah.
All I could think was that there was I just kept looking over Johnny's shoulder at the reactions and also at the very, very, very heavy piece of lighting equipment that was just over his shoulder. And all I could think was like, you're lucky your wife is classy. You are lucky she is such a class act and was raised right, because if it had been anyone in my family and they knew how heavy that lighting equipment was,
it wouldn't have been
Araceli would have had to gather bail money, is what she was saying.
Yeah. But I also feel like Bonnie and Leo wouldn't have been able to eat any cake because Johnny would have been completely covered in it.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so someone mentioned like having sex in a hospital closet. That happened on Friends. Monica and Chandler, while Rachel was having her baby, had sex in a hospital closet.
That's the first example you think of?
That's what someone in the chat said, didn't it?
Well, someone in the chat mentioned. I was going to mention it. Someone in the chat mentioned it. However, the Leo and Bonnie cake thing, I feel like was also taken from Friends in the episode where Rachel and Chandler kept stealing the cheesecakes.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm not familiar. I watched Living Single.
You watched the first Friends, yeah.
Watched
Friends
the original Friends.
Yeah. But yeah, the cake thing was it was cute. Like, you know, I know sometimes I rag on that part of Leo I like.
Yeah.
The constant talking and innuendo, blah, 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 blah. That's what annoys me. But it was how they cut to them in the square.
That is Leo thinking about the environment. That is Leo not being wasteful with food.
With that Costco sheet cake.
Because food waste is a big contributor to our environmental cost. So yes, I fully support
I am happy
Leo.
to say I do not
eat all the cake you want.
They were very offended when Seth was like, let's take this to the break room. They were like, we're not sharing this whole cake that isn't ours.
Run! The only thing that would have made him better was if Felicity would have walked up behind them and said, "What are you doing? Is that my cake?"
Did I just make that cake? Didn't I just make that cake?
You know she would have.
Also, so back to Raven and Carson. Also, like the very last scene with Raven and Paulina, where Chanel finally was able to like break down and kind of break through like the strong woman part and just be vulnerable for a minute. Like you felt that crying, like you.
Yeah. Well, you felt the moment before when Paulina walked in and she was like,
yeah.
Because there's a moment where you gotta like.
I told me she's gonna have I thought she was gonna have a panic attack, and that was gonna be an offshoot or something.
That's that.
Paulina,
I'm hotter than fish grease. Like that's that moment of like a culmination of being accused of cheating, being called a slut.
Yeah.
That was just, and the way he said it too.
It was like venomous. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Vitriol,
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about y'all, but every time they cut back to that scene of seeing Alex and Stephanie, I still always kind of look around and go, like, at no point did you. Okay.
All you saw was Alex's fine looking back, which I would have stayed and kept looking. I just would have been like,
But how do you, okay. Your wife is a beautiful black woman. Stephanie is a beautiful white woman. Even in a vanilla swirl ice cream cone, you can still tell the difference, right? So how is it
they weren't swirled officially yet? He was.
Oh, you know what? You know what? As a matter of fact, hold that thought. Hold on.
Oh my god!
Oh no! Does he have ice cream?
Is he going to the freezer and breaking out a carton of Thrifty?
To drive the
ice
point,
cream sandwich. No.
the drive the point home. You see this? You see this? Like you can,
not the blue bunny.
yeah. You can literally tell the difference as the vanilla and chocolate are swirled in together.
They
Right?
weren't swirled yet, Tony.
They were they were swirling. They
Not
were
yet.
swirling.
Not yet.
So you get do you see how you can completely differentiate the
He
two?
was still covering
right?
her. They weren't swirling yet. Her hands would have been on his back, and legs would have been wrapped around if they
She
were
was like
swirling.
this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right. Was she laying under him like
Hey, how they do it is
Maybe she was, had her hands downstairs getting stuff started.
Oh my god! Stop!
but even then her elbows would have been out.
Now, if she's like this,
Wait, why would she be like why would she be straight like this? Like if someone's
Listen, how they do
We're
it,
just-
how
we're-
straight people have sex is none of our business. Okay.
I'm just saying, and he stood there long enough for there to be some sort of like shift to where she would see Stephanie's hair, a elbow, a shoulder, something like or if he didn't see anyone, what if Alex was in there doing stuff to himself?
Oh, even better.
he could have been pulling a JD Vance and banging the bed.
I'm just saying he got all upset and assumed, and I'm still looking at that thing like you didn't see a pinky toe or like something.
I'm telling it all goes back to Seth Burns.
Oh god! You guys
Okay,
are
they're gonna
so
clip
lucky.
this and send it to
Please, yes.
Bob and
You guys
Alex.
are so lucky that I don't have asthma.
You lost it. But I'm just saying, I think I made some valid points.
You
Another
did.
valid point. They both must have been real quiet. It must have been the quiet sex.
Yeah, just get started. Like, give them some.
You give me a
It's
second
just
to
getting
breathe.
started. You can make some, I
And
don't know.
also-
if they were as pent up as if the what am I trying to say? If the energy was as pent up as they're playing it out to be, that they just had to bang right there and couldn't wait, then they'd be making some noise.
But also, like, okay, did they not hear the door?
We're not a children's show. We are not
Never.
a children's show.
But did they not hear the door? Like, he didn't like. Okay, if you're trying to be sneaky, right? You kind of do the
Some doors aren't
slow, but the fact that he just went papaya, like they didn't hear the door. They didn't. Also, they were on set. They didn't hear Seth Burns say, "Oh yeah, Faith and Arrow are in there working online." Like you didn't even hear that.
Nope.
We say all that to say there was no reason for Johnny to like get himself in a kerfuffle
Yeah.
over something that wasn't happening.
Mhm.
And then possibly do something he shouldn't have with Joy Wesley, which we don't know what was done yet, or if anything was done, or how she got her hand on the ring.
Right.
But Chanel noticed that he didn't have his ring on. And then Joy brought it back to him when he was sulking in the not the square, but outside the Brady pub.
Okay.
Someone just said to ask that question that day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if all of a sudden I was like, okay, so listen.
We have some theories.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Then it's like, Raven and Abigail, can y'all come up, and Rob, can you come up here really quick, please? Okay, now just give each other a hug from this point of view, right? Like
See the swirl.
it's like okay, audience, guess who Rob is hugging? And they all just stand in the line, and it's like,
That's all you, Tony. That's all you.
I have to be good. But I'm just saying. I mean, you know, as Stefan in a black shirt pointed out earlier, Alex has a beautiful back. Wonderful, muscular, strong.
Just want to bite it.
Now, how would somebody else feel about that?
Ooh.
The one who walked in.
You
What,
mean
Johnny?
Bimby?
Bimby. Leave my dog out of this. Leave my innocent dog out of this.
All right, we're going. Let's we're going too far.
Okay.
Because I'm confused now.
You said you wanted to bite Rob's back, but I'm saying how would Johnny feel about it?
About biting Rob's back?
About you biting Rob's back?
Oh. I mean, there's no ring on this finger.
Oh my gosh.
WOW.
Okay, look, this is all to say, Johnny DiMera, you have one job and one job only.
Yeah, that was to look.
No, from this point forward. I mean, from this point forward.
Look.
You have to grovel. And then after you're done groveling, you have to grovel. And then after that, you have to grovel some more. And this is your life for the foreseeable future.
He's in the doghouse for the foreseeable future.
Johnny is not in the doghouse. He is in the neighbors across the street underneath the ground. Like,
he's in the mausoleum.
Doghouse.
I'm sure even that's climate controlled, though.
Right. With the devil.
I mean, it wouldn't be happy memories.
What what was the random DiMera that was in the mausoleum?
Oh, yeah, the one we kept adding names.
Like
Gillespie.
I forget. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. We made up a character description for them.
Hold on, I'll be back. I gotta put my ice cream back in the freezer.
Oh yeah, I don't want it to melt.
I'm wondering though, are there stakes if he didn't do anything with Joy?
Yes,
what do you mean stakes?
Like, what's the conflict then?
What's the conflict?
Well, I mean, okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
No, I'm saying besides that has nothing to do with Joy. I'm saying the stuff with Joy. If he accidentally dropped his ring and she picked it up and they both went home and went to bed, then what's the conflict? I'm assuming there has to be some, maybe not sex, but something had to happen.
I'm going to be optimistic here, and I'm going to predict that they didn't have sex, but he still ended up in her room because she said the words, "You left this in my room last night."
I hope it's not like she's gonna make him. It's like she's gonna make him think they did something and kind of be a schemer like that.
He seemed very sober the next morning. I doubt he had enough.
He did not seem to have a bad hangover, so maybe he didn't black out.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that. I'm wondering too. I don't know if they'll have if it'll be like them sleeping together, but I wonder if they just got too close, and that'll be the I
think that would be enough, especially if Joy ends up working with Chanel.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the conflict.
Well, hopefully art isn't about to imitate life, because that scene was very much
Yes.
what Chanel and Joy could be going through. And oh, it says here I'm supposed to slap her.
Yeah.
If oh my gosh, if we do a circle back and that scene ends up being like their scene,
Could happen.
child.
Or like it's a scene where they have Body and Soul in the background playing with that scene, and then they're having the real thing. Like,
See,
I don't know.
I'm gonna predict that maybe nothing happened, but that maybe Chanel and Joy become close, and this is like lingering in the background. and
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
not.
conflict. Yeah,
Mm.
that's what I'm gonna predict. Because it's like, okay, if nothing really happened, then like what bigger stakes is that? So I feel like there has to be another component, and maybe it's the Chanel and Joy get close while like Johnny and Joy sort of keep whatever happened a secret, and that maybe that, that comes to the forefront at some point.
Yeah.
Last point on this, because I know it will annoy Michael Mattis. Will be okay with the Cheatin' Heart references if they bring back the Cheatin' Heart set.
Oh, I didn't mind the Cheatin' Heart
I
reference.
feel like, yeah, it was.
I minded the writer's strike reference. I minded. What else did I mind? I minded something else that
Everything else.
like the whole talk of like, oh, I'm not an under 5 anymore. What am I? Oh, you're a day player. I'm like, oh.
Oh, like a day player, like a band member?
Yeah.
Let's be clear. The term came before the band.
Yes. Still, like, it just there was one other thing that I but for whatever, the Cheatin' Heart, I was like, oh, the Cheatin' Heart, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
I think we've beaten that storyline.
Yeah, we have covered every point. It's almost like Alex did with Stephanie. We've covered every point of the room.
Because he was covering
Stephanie.
Because she was like this.
Or right. Not like this.
I guess.
She was like this.
I vote for number 2. She was
like
maybe,
this.
maybe she was like this. Maybe she was like this.
Maybe he needs a little help, Anyway.
All right, let's move on to the next storyline, which is the Damera takeover.
Excuse me.
Kristen, if you don't give her the
serum.
The thing is, it's like it is. You just want to just be like, give her the damn serum and be done with it. But this is it's so fucking Kristen to be like to go off a technicality and be like, oh well, you guys didn't really have anything to do. And first of all, they did, because they had to sit there and convince EJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit there and grovel to EJ to let him out. So actually, they did have something to do with it. But I digress. It's Kristen. She found another whatever she wanted, and decided to go back on her original agreement and say, okay, instead of just wanting Brady free, I want your entire family's company. And it was a little jarring to be like, so the way it kind of played out this week, Xander went back to Sarah, and I knew Sarah wasn't going to, I was expecting them to have a scene where Sarah, just between Xander and Sarah, when he told her, for her to be like, oh no, don't do that. That came later.
Yeah.
Because then there was like an episode break. And then when that storyline came back, it was like the deal was done. They just needed to sign the papers. And I was like, well, that was fucking fast.
It was okay.
I would. Can I have a share in Titan? Can I be co-CEO of Titan?
How much for one share?
You want the whole damn company?
Not just 51%. She wants the whole thing. She's so desperate to look good to Shin Senior.
Yeah.
And here's the part. And you know what? On a weird level, that part is one of the most annoying parts. Because how much BS did Stefan and EJ pull as CEOs And I feel like she's being held to a higher standard. Not that she's helping herself any bit pulling this crap, but I do feel like I'm gonna give her a smidge of compassion, because I feel like Shin being Shin is 100% holding her to a different standard because she's a woman.
I didn't think about that part, but you're kind of right.
Maybe.
I mean, because we know Shin by now. We know that that's exactly who he is. He is such an A-grade misogynist.
Yeah.
Especially, we saw how he treated Wendy. So that's such a thing that he would do. So I don't blame her for that part. I'm sure the company is doing fine, but I think that they probably held her to a higher standard, and she feels like she has to deliver. And I don't think anybody, not even Brady, begging her to see reason would work. If I were in the situation, I would tell her, "You're Kristen freaking Tamara. You're really gonna let the boys club tell you what to do?" I feel like that would work, Connor.
But this is like the easier solution. Just take Titan away, and
Yeah.
because she already had a bargaining chip. That's why I think that's why she's doing it this way rather than think in the non-blackmail sense of how to put herself up there as CEO.
Yeah, of course, because Kristen, the blackmail is just kind of like breathing.
Kristen, just give them both vials of
And
serum
and
go have yourself a good day. I kept waiting for Brady to come in and be like, "Kristen,
But
what are you doing?" But of course not. Of course we didn't get that. We got an injunction put in by Philip Kyriakis.
And in the weirdest way possible, I'm okay with seeing Philip come through like this. Usually, unfortunately, and it's funny because I love every iteration of Philip. I love every actor who has played Philip, but every time Philip comes to town, it's always with a chip on his shoulder, and it annoys the hell out of me. This time, I'm okay with it because he stopped Xander from doing something stupid. Now, granted, Philip is probably doing something stupid behind the scenes that I will rake him over for the coals for in a couple of weeks. But for right now, I'm going to give him his kudos.
Carolyn makes a valid point of, you're going to give away an entire company over a serum that you don't even know works.
Even if it did, is it really work? I mean, listen, I love Sarah, and I can see why Xander did it. But if I'm Sarah, I'm
You
like,
better wheel your ass around.
yeah, I'm not like. I feel like that should have been more forceful.
We'll get you a power chair.
Should have been like, no, I don't want you to do this. Don't do it. We'll figure out another way. We'll develop our own serum. We'll do that. Like, she kind of stated her case, and he was like, I don't care. I want to do it for you. And then she kind of just like wheeled out of the room. And I was
there's plenty of money there's plenty of money on the Kyriakis side, and this probably wouldn't have worked because Rolf is through and through a staunch Demira. Demira. What's the word?
Crony.
Demira.
Yeah, whatever. We get it. Yeah.
Like they could have tried to pay him to make the serum for them, but he's like a very staunch Demira loyalist. That's the word. Demira loyalist.
Or figure out your own. I mean, you have enough money.
Oh, hire your own.
Yeah.
Scientist.
I feel like there's much. This is like way too.
Well,
Philip saves the day here.
There's no other scientists.
Right now, no.
In Salem, there are only one of everything. There's one DA, one lawyer, one psychiatrist, one CEO that can be switched in and out.
Multiple times.
There's never multiples of anything.
No.
The whole company, though?
Yeah.
It's almost like, well, Kristen, this done turned into a business meeting.
Yeah.
What you plan on doing with Titan?
Or she could ask for like basic black back, because then that would have given her Brady back, or like something like that would have made, I guess, a little bit more reasonable. But
no, they always got to go for the gusto. Hi, I don't want just basic black back. I want the whole industry.
Yeah.
Now, Christian Me World, all these monies that you're giving us, you could have just became a member. But a good question.
Membership.
What
not
would you pick?
included.
Generational wealth or to walk?
The leg.
That's a leg.
The showgirl's leg.
Yeah. Like, geez, Louise. I think I gave the biggest eye roll when she was like, I want Titan. I was like, girl, like,
No.
it ain't my fault you gave away. Y'all kept doing the trade-off of the Demira shares.
Mhm.
Now you're gonna go for somebody else's. That's like Betty Crocker knocking on Duncan Hines' door and being like, I want the whole thing. Don't make your own cake, Betty. Jesus. Anyway. Well, we'll see what happens with that.
Out the other component to that.
Oh.
The big surprise.
Listen.
Yes. That was a surprise. That was a shocker.
Dang.
Fiona said, I never confessed. I don't know what you're talking about.
Man.
And you
Love
can
it.
see EJ just being like,
I know he was
It's like, I just let Brady go. Like, because I thought I had a sure thing here.
really had his yeah.
then
Again,
Sarah, go ahead.
Melinda Trask, love her to death. Like
Yes.
she's not really on the right side. However, I love that she just went around town just pulling shit and
She
I don't
said,
know.
Stefan, here go your divorce papers. Be right back. Fiona, you're out of jail. Be right back. Like, she's just,
and
just
Tina
getting it
Hahn-
done.
Tina
She
Hahn
fought
just
for a
always
client.
always delivers. So
Yeah.
good.
And then to,
She made
of
some
course,
valid points.
I mean, she did, but she was also like, EJ, come on, you're a lawyer. You know that you don't have a case.
Mhm.
Like, you don't even have her confession written. Like, you have nothing. Let her go. Meanwhile, Fiona goes have a change of clothes and decides, I'm gonna sit in Horton Town Square and have a cocktail to celebrate. As Sarah wheels up, Fiona.
I was like, is she the new villain now? She completely it was like she's all in black. She's drinking in public now, so she doesn't care what anyone thinks of her. She's sort of taunting Sarah a bit. I was like, oh, where are we going with this?
I'm curious where we're going because I was wondering, and I don't know, I was absent for the Serena Scott Thomas chat.
Oh, it was lovely. You should watch
Yeah.
it.
Okay, I'll watch it
Yeah.
tonight. But whether this was just like a short term arc for her, and then she's like Fiona's gonna go back to wherever she was, or if she's kind of like staying in Salem to like, you know,
Keep stirring the pot.
Mm-hmm.
They really, you know what? I'm gonna add Serena Scott Thomas to the list of people they need to find or continue working with.
Okay.
Mhm.
And also on that list is Jason, who replaced Greg Vaughn
Oh, the
for those days.
Eric, yeah, he was good.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
also I'm gonna throw in Leo Howard's wife, Natasha.
Yeah.
Yes,
who
love her.
replaced-
Really
like,
good.
well, how about this? Girl, let her play Sloane and come back and wrap up that storyline. Like, how did Sloane just slip out the back door of the DeMera mansion, never to be heard or found again?
I thought that was pretty wrapped up.
I know. I'd like Sloan back. I could take Sloan back,
Yeah.
especially now that Eric
I'm
and
okay with
Nicole
it.
are gone. It might be
I
an
could take
interesting
her as
dynamic.
Sloane. I could take her as a new character. I like them both. Yes, we
I'm just saying.
love our casting.
But no, I'm definitely interested in what Fiona, however long she stays, what this new chapter is going to look like for her.
Mhm.
I am going to push back on something that Serena said in your interview, though, because she said that she still believed that Fiona was an inherently good person. I don't.
Well, that's you. You didn't play her.
No, I believe that she needs to believe that in order to play Fiona. I'm saying I do not believe this week's actions. She had me up until this week.
Well, she had to get out of jail somehow. You would have played that card too.
I would not have.
Yeah,
You would have went to jail.
I fooled like a pancake.
yeah, I wouldn't have went to. I would have gotten out and made remorse and amends, but I wouldn't. I would have. I would have definitely tried to not.
Like
I would have tried to get out if I had a lawyer like Melinda
Yeah,
Trask on my side,
yeah.
and then I could throw a few bucks to be like, get me out of this shit. I'd have done it, even if I knew I was in the wrong.
Yeah,
That was
So-
raised Catholic. I'm guilty. I feel guilty as hell.
So
Let's
clearly,
try to get myself out of jail.
Okay, so that's no. See, like the real Catholic guilt is like you drown in the guilt. Like you. It's not enough to admit it to the priest. It's not enough to leave it there. You have to literally drown in it for all eternity.
so then clearly you're the Brady Black of it all,
Oh yeah.
and we are the Fionas. Because I mean, listen, she didn't do anything wrong. She said, "I never confessed," which she didn't. She told Sarah, but she didn't tell them.
And Sarah changed her story multiple times, so who's going to believe her?
And so did Brady.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
So
I do love it. It does give me a kick because EJ's such an asshole. It does give me a kick that he just keeps losing. And he just keeps getting his balls chopped off by everybody. And the look on Dan's face when it happened, when he knows, like when EJ knows, the look on Dan's face is just like Tony said, like.
And that's what gives Melinda such a great pleasure right now because she was in that job, so she knows that feeling.
Yep.
well, of course she did, because she was the same way. Remember, she was trying to throw everybody in jail for everything.
They couldn't do
But
nothing.
I like that they both sort of see each other as equals too, especially EJ to her. He knows if if Justin came in and tried to play that, I don't think EJ would have folded. But the fact that it was Melinda, I think it was like, oh damn, she got me. Like she knows.
Well, she did.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that was all with the Demira takeover. And now we travel over to Paris for Abifail is Katerina Jr.
Okay.
Mm.
If I could have had my voice back to join you guys covering the week before, I would have, because oh my god, Annalyn McCord,
So good.
what a find! I mean, and like so many people disagree with me that there is a path to, now we know Kat and Katerina and Chad, to them someday finding a way to move past this. And I'm not saying now, but their chemistry is just so off the charts.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
even
is.
as Chad is filled with hate and ripping into her, and you could see as when she's and he's gonna stick to his hate, but you could see he cracked a little bit when she said that her mother was in danger. You could see the crack just a little bit.
If
But
I
then
were
wait.
if I were Chad in that moment, I'd be like, I need some proof of this. Like you could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He's not just gonna buy it right away.
Well, he said, "How do I know you're telling the truth?" And she said, "You don't."
So that means John didn't kill Katerina.
no.
No.
Which I mean,
No.
I think we all figured that was way too much.
Yeah, it was too easy. But then it's like, and I do kind of like it felt a little jarring to go from that on Monday to the rest of this, but I actually do kind of like that we're holding off on this because it feels like it did when we started this storyline, that once we start, we can't stop. And so when they originally found her in that building in Poplar Bluff, all this time it's been a slow burn up until this point when everything blew up. And then it kind of revved up really fast. So it feels like now that we have that, once Steve, and this is where Steve comes in because he's going to he's the person placed here to put two and two together, that once he does that, it feels like we're all systems go.
There's still mystery too. There's the Katerina part of it. That's
Exactly.
Still a mystery. It's
Yeah.
like
So it's like,
we know she's the mother, of course, now, but there's the mystery of how is she alive? Was her death faked? What's the story behind that? And we don't have
many
Constantine in the mix anymore, but but also like, okay, are they bringing her on? And then what does that mean? Because who was it? It was Xander, right? Who killed Constantine, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So like, does that come? You know what I mean? Does that get folded into the mix now too?
There's so many questions.
Yeah.
Still a
But
lot
because-
to uncover about this, and we just got a little nugget of.
It's like a little, not, I wouldn't say it's an umbrella storyline, but it's a little bit. It's connecting some dots from other storylines that they could bring into.
So they couldn't bring in the fact that Katerina was actually alive, so that way Constantine would probably still be alive and not have had so much hatred for Victor and John and had like done all that.
This is where I go back and I remind people that of strike material. This is where I remind people that it was literally around that time that we went from strike material back to the writer's room. So this has kind of been how I suspect that this was how we got through that portion that me and many other people did not like.
I'm curious to see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I was like also like yelling at her to say, tell your truth. It's Clyde. You wanted nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Clyde is holding your mom. That's all you know. You didn't mean to hurt. Like spit it out. Like you gotta. This is your chance to tell him.
Because she's actually a victim too.
Yeah, they all are. And I'm hoping that Mark too, because Mark was having to do what he needed to do in order to move this forward.
True.
Yeah. I also think that,
I guess no, you're right. They're both guilty of. I mean, they're both guilty of doing unscrupulous things.
Yeah.
Yes.
But because they are being forced to by Clyde, so they're both
It's
victims.
Clyde, yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is why I say there's a path forward for them.
I think I do agree there's a path forward, definitely for both. But also, I mean, there's still you still have some choice in the back. I mean, killing Mark was literally ready to kill Chad. Like at least Kat didn't know that part. Like that's a little more weighty than I'm gonna marry him and take some of his money. But there's
she
also,
said I was supposed to marry you and disappear.
Yeah.
Get your money and disappear.
And that's why, I mean, I feel like it doesn't make it better, but at least she's not, I'm going to steal some of your money and be fine. You're still going to have your life. I'm not, the plan wasn't for me to be a part of any sort of actual physical harm to you. Yeah.
Do you think Chad loves her?
No, but I think that there's potential.
Yeah.
He very much wanted to believe that this was Abigail, but
I think he also knew in the back of his mind this wasn't Abigail.
That was that desperation in him. But they have a natural chemistry, and that natural chemistry, the fact that she is inherently a good person who was put in a bad situation by a man that he hates with every fiber of his being, there's a path there.
Well, because they have a common enemy, so to speak. Now
there's a path there. Oh gosh, I want to see it.
We'll maybe Chad will join in on the search for her mama.
That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly. Maybe he's like gonna kind of eventually like soften and then be like, okay, I want to help you.
Yeah.
Because now again, common enemy. He has beef with Clyde, clearly. And now like what help her defeat Clyde.
Yeah.
There's something in it for him too.
There's also the Abigail question, like not necessarily like is Abigail alive? I don't think they're gonna continue with that, but also like he obviously
Abigail dead.
Body.
Where's her damn body?
If she's alive, where's the body?
Oh.
That's the only question about Abigail being dead or alive. Where's
well,
I think she's dead, but I think Chad would want the body. He still would want his wife's body returned to,
her final resting place.
Yeah.
I think maybe the coffin just got moved and they just put in an empty one.
Good old coffin
in the Salem morgue somewhere. Is that what you're saying?
That is surprisingly plausible.
I
mean, in the mausoleum with Ezekiel Demira.
Well, because first of all, what sense would it make to dig up the coffin, open it, take that out, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
put it back in? Like, I'm just gonna do a coffin swap.
Nobody wants to smell that.
Mm-mm.
Trademark it, coffin swap.
Mm-mm. 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 All right. Well, we'll see what happens with this storyline. Thanks,
Bimby,
Steve,
are you
for
sad?
who?
Do I hear Bimby? Is that who I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Bimby.
Okay, it's like, is that Kevin
Aw.
Heat? What's going on? What are we here?
Poor, I'm so sad.
He doesn't like the storyline either. No.
There you go. Bimby said, "Child, this storyline is silly."
Aw.
All right. Well, that was pretty much that storyline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Before we get to our tidbits, we just want to remind you guys, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you become an exclusive member by clicking the join button for $4.99 a month. Also, hit the bell notification. That way you'll never miss when a new video is posted. Take a listen to us on your favorite podcast stations. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, make sure you show some love to JLJ Media, James Lott Jr., our former co-host, my chocolate twin. Find him on the YouTubes and wherever podcasts can be found. And keep your thoughts coming on in, because we want to hear them. Speaking of thoughts, let's go into our tidbits, which is unlucky in love. I don't even want to speak on that.
I know. It's just so. Literally, the only thing I can contribute to this conversation is Galen Garing. I'm going to teach you how to roll your R's.
Oh, not the shade.
I'm sorry.
Maybe
Rolling
not
R's is hard.
It is.
There's literally a most famous scene from Selena. Literally, you can look it up. They teach you how to do it.
Look it up.
What scene?
There is a scene from Selena, a very famous scene, where her daddy is teaching her how to roll her R's.
Oh.
It's one of
It's hard
like,
for someone that did not someone that did not that grew up speaking English and not a Hispanic
Rosas.
or Spanish. Like it's hard. Like they tried. I took 3 years of Spanish, and every year they tried to teach me, and I couldn't.
But Tony, look at Tony did it. It's like it doesn't have to be perfect, but I need to see effort.
Or should I say I wasn't perfect?
No, Tony's is very good, but like
I know Tony got it down.
No, but like look, I can tell. Like
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it's hard
for some people.
Just I can tell.
Not good with my tongue.
When you're trying, I can tell when you're trying.
They only got one take.
When you're not.
I learned from Selena as
I didn't
well.
use that, but
That's how I learned. I took Spanish 101 and I listened to Selena songs.
Yes, as we that was how many that was how I learned Spanish as a toddler.
I love how Araceli gets very passionate. She gets very passionate about something, and then she pauses and she looks at us like, "Come on, guys, don't you agree?" And we all look back at her like, "I guess."
Bless your heart.
Okay, I got it.
We wish
Como
you
la
luck.
flor, bitty bitty bum bum, el chico de la pata memo 512.
Hey.
Oh, that's my favorite song.
No, that last one was good.
Told you, I learned my Spanish from Selena.
The positive was that was a beautiful scene with Galen and Sherry and the subject matter. Like we've always talked about the way they dismantled the Hernandez family and how we wish they brought them back, and more on that later in the show. But I like that they were talking about culture and relationships and things like that. They don't do that a lot for certain characters, so it was nice to give them that.
And I mean it was sad to hear that there was the passing of their tia, but how beautiful was it that that they just talked about family and how like he was the favorite because he made her laugh and it was hard to make her laugh, and the fact that she gave him like such a symbolic thing that was basically like, listen, when you find love, you have my permission, and you slip this ring on her finger. And then there was a little part of me that was like, well, what if it's a he? But
Tia
yeah,
doesn't. Tia. Tia's from
it was
Houston. She doesn't know about that.
it was
Pretty sure
it was
Tia could
beautiful
have
though.
figured it out at this point.
Well, yeah. But it was definitely a beautiful moment between Rafe and Gabby, an excellent acting moment between Galen and Sherry.
I feel like
It
they're
was great.
continuing this. This has always been the case, at least since I've been watching. Rafe and Gabby, they're constantly showing that sibling relationship. And they're constantly and for a while it's always like Rafe showing up to being like, what'd you do this time, Gabby?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they always seem to be involved with each other's lives, somewhat so more than the other siblings
Yeah.
on the show. And I like that that's
Mhm.
still continuing, even though it's not Camila anymore, it's Sherry. When Sherry came on, Rafe was in the coma. So we really didn't
And
get that at
he got in the
first,
coma
but-
right after.
Yeah, right after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that they're continuing at that, and both actors have that they have brother sisterly sibling chemistry.
Mhm.
So I like that they're continuing that. It makes sense when I watch it.
That's
Yeah.
important.
That door opened and I was like, we know who's over there.
We knew a couple months ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we
Well,
maybe not a couple months ago, but
We'll talk about it on
mhm.
we'll talk about it.
But then on the other side of it was Stefan and his radioactive looking liqueur or whatever he was drinking.
And
You know what?
I
Knowing that his last air date is
Oh.
Monday,
God.
I thought, oh, this is like they're really gonna like give him a clean break by like signing the divorce papers. Then he gets kidnapped, so that way that leaves Gabby open. But then he was like, I'm gonna fight for my wife. I was like, well, right now you need to fight for you,
Mhm.
because that kidnapper came out. He didn't even come out of the Demare tunnels. He came like from the west wing of the house.
Old
Go
school
Power
version.
Ranger mode.
Yes.
Plot-wise-
Jimmy did something.
Plot wise, I was very happy to see Gabby and Stefan really take a pause.
And admit that they still love each other and that all
Yeah.
this stuff was stupid.
It was stupid. And I was even so happy with Kristen. Kristen
Mhm.
marched in there and told him, you know what?
You rip those divorce papers up and you fight for your wife.
I was shocked and
I was too. I was pleasantly surprised actually. Why does this
that was
keep-
wonderful. But then, if I were Kristen, I would have been like, dude, I went through all this trouble to keep you alive for how many years, only for you to throw away your one chance at love.
At love. Now, if he was about to jump off a bridge, I think that speech is appropriate.
I don't know. I just feel like Kristen, Kristen could have stakes. I mean, she doesn't have to, but if she wanted to throw her weight around on this, she could.
Listen, Kristen ain't worried about that. Let me say what Kristen is worried about.
Yeah,
Titan
that's what
and
we're
2 bottles of syrup
Yeah.
and Brady. Who I think she should get over.
Rachel caring about Rachel goes in there somewhere too.
Yeah.
Yeah, caring about
I
Rachel.
mean, she loves her brothers. As kooky as her love is, sometimes she does love her brothers.
I guess I should take it back what I said, because they show like even maybe it's like they show like the sibling relationship between the Demiras, but maybe it's because the Demiras are always being bitchy and catty and having pissing contests.
Yeah, that's
not like-
their sibling relationship.
It's like that's their sibling, but
Yeah.
I pay more attention to Rafe and Gabby's because it's nicer.
Mhm.
But yeah, that moment with Kristen, I agree. Like, I was like, oh, that was nice of her, as she went off to go blackmail a disabled woman.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you can't choose your siblings.
You sure shit can't.
Yeah.
No, I love my sister. Sister's got my back. That lady would fly out to California in the drop of a hat if it meant needing to have my back with something. So
Sisters, they are never such devoted sisters.
all that reminds me of is the Saturday Night Live skit with Kristen Wiig, where she plays like the small hands
Oh,
because they did that song.
it reminds me every time I sing that song, I sing it in the style of remember the show Empty Nest?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, figured.
They sung that song and then they got mad at each other towards the end, and they were like, "And Lord help the sister who comes between me and my man," and they were just like going at it.
Well, Carol, and what was the other sister's name?
I can't remember, but I think we had that episode on tape, and so I used to like watch it. Yeah. Anywho, I should find that episode. Huh. And not Stefan being. Did you not learn anything when you asked Ava for round 2? Then to look at Melinda and go, "Oh, are you in such a hurry so that you can shoot your shot?" Melinda was like, "Baby, no, ain't nobody worried about no nobody worried about no Stefan."
She's like, I'm working for Demira. I'm freeing Fiona. I'm clean. No,
George, what you talking about? Tony talking about serve, tease, tickle, and spank.
I don't know. I made it a little more.
That sounds familiar.
Cool,
Oh,
thanks,
that's Golden Girls.
Is it?
That's Golden Girls.
Tease,
That's
tickle,
Blanche.
spank. It sounds very Blanche.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in myself that I did not recognize that.
You should be.
Yep.
You should be.
Throw me a Dorothy quote, I'll recognize it.
Picture it.
We already went through it.
We did. All right. Well, that was our week of days, and it's now time to get into our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Snap!
3 Snaps Award.
I played it.
Yeah, we heard it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
I
Why
thought
didn't
you
hear it?
forgot. I was like, Tony, did you forget your thing?
I know. I was like,
No, I was like, I know why didn't. But why didn't I hear it? But I wanted to hear it. Anyway, listen, my snaps went to Johnny's surprise party because, honey, when I tell you, it gave me all the drama, all the suspense, all the emotions that one needed. I was snapping all over the place. I was snapping for Chanel. I was snapping for the peanut gallery. I was just. Yes. So I feel like that's the person who really set it off for me in this scene was Raven Bowens. So Raven, Chanel, you definitely get Tony's 3 Snaps Award.
that was me this time.
Oh, snap!
There we go.
I'm just going to assume it played because I still didn't hear it.
Oh, snap!
She was, oh my God. Like, look at that face right there.
Yeah.
That right there, that face said, now what you think? Since you got your degree and you know everything. I'm just saying. All right. And now it's time for Caption That.
All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of EJ and Fiona rejecting EJ's plea deal. And this week's caption goes to Debbie Bright at DJ Coco on Twitter/X with her caption, "Thank goodness these aren't pink pages writing us out tomorrow."
And that was Caption That. Was I right? I had to say it. I had to say it in my mind because I can't hear it.
Oh, you're close.
Okay, good. And now it's time for
Those were the days.
All right, everyone, I'm taking you back to October 21st, 1993 for the birth of Belle Black. If you didn't know, she was actually born in the Horton cabin, delivered by new couple, John and Kristen actually delivered Belle back then. And she had a little bit of a medical emergency where John had to step in and administer CPR. And here we are in the hospital and sort of the aftermath of it with John admiring this new baby. And to see an extended version of this week's Those Were Days, as well as all the others for the month of October, do become a member, and you can take advantage of that along with all the other segments and fun things we have in store for members. So yeah, that was October 21st, 1993, when Belle Black was born.
And
Those were the days.
And now it's time for
It's a gift.
And this week's It's a GIF goes to Miss Abigail Klein for well, I'll just let you watch.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
So, Miss Abigail Klein, for your amazing reactions of embarrassment, you are the winner of this week's It's a GIF.
and that was
Those were the. It's a gift.
what?
It's
No.
a gift.
You'll see it on the playback.
Oh boy. And now it's time for
News and gossip.
All right, we're starting off with some casting news, some unfortunate casting news. Originally, this was going to start with something happy, but now with this new one, it actually changes the scope of a couple of these casting notices. The first one, unfortunately, our dear friend Brandon Barrage is no longer on the show. He did an interview with Soaps.com, letting us know that his final air date will be this Monday, I believe, will be his final air date. He actually was in the middle of his contract and was, in no uncertain terms, was let go. So he stopped filming actually early this year. So again, Days tapes 8 months in advance. So people were questioning, yes, he is still a part of the Day Players. He obviously has been touring with them and is still part of. I don't know why that question really made me laugh. It's like, yes, they didn't. Now that he's not on Days, they didn't kick him out and send him away because he does have a Days contract.
They're like, it's not called the non-day player.
Yeah, he's still allowed to perform in the band. I think Carson and them are giving him a pass, I guess. But yes, he's still part of the Day Players, so you can still see him there. But unfortunately, yes, we are saying goodbye to Stefan. We don't know for how long, but Brandon did not hold back in his interview, saying that he was maybe a little bit reticent if they did come back to him, as since this is not the first time this has sort of happened. So I think, he has there's some hurt feelings there, as you can imagine. He also spoke to the LA podcast about his overall time on soap operas, so go check that episode out. This actually leads into our next casting notice, which I thought would be sort of a happy, fun one, but Louise Sorel is back next week, and so I'm guessing this is to help usher off her son Stefan in some spectacular way, as we saw at the end of Friday's episode. So Louise will be back for at least coming back next week. We'll not know exactly how many episodes or how long she's staying, but this could be a quick visit. But yes, we get to see Vivian Alamein again. So
And Yvonne.
yes.
They kept this one a secret.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
finally. Maybe we would have known in 2023 that they were coming back in 2024.
Let it go.
Yes. Next up, we have Al Calderon, who is coming on as Rafe and Gabby's cousin. He will actually premiere next week, and I know we've actually teased this months ago with that infamous picture of Al and Sherry when we didn't know who they were playing. I think there was a lot of speculation that maybe he was a Dosaurus Dario, but he is not playing Dario. We know that for a fact, but yes, he's coming on as a brand new character, and we will see him next week. We got a little hint of something that was very, very not covert, but very layered this week about him. Rafe mentioned him, and then there was also some commentary about that specific ring and why maybe that ring went to Rafe and not this character. So I'm sure you can guess that. But yeah, we will see Al in Salem next week. And last but not least, some casting notice for Nadia B. Orlin, who would probably be a great time to have her back as oh god, why am I forgetting? As
Chloe.
It's Chloe. Now that we have Joy and Nancy back, but Nadia B. Orlin is coming back to Venice. Venice series. She was last on the show in 2017, and the show actually is coming back from a little bit of a hiatus since before the pandemic, and they're set to begin production on season 7 soon. So you can see her soon on Venice, hopefully on Days 2, but yes, on Venice, the series, she will make a return there.
All right, next up, the cast of Days had a fun night at the Best Buddies Champion of the Year Gala. We've been mentioning that Daystar Kennedy Garcia has been a Champion of the Year. She's been actively promoting this fundraiser, and she partnered with Christopher Sean for the Best Buddies Challenge to support their mission of inclusion. So you can see there, Christopher Sean has his certificate with him, and they were joined by cast members Annalyn McCord, Julie Dove, Carson Boatman, his wife Julana, and there's Allie and Chanel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the entire so that was the fun night out, and this actually coincided with Christopher Sean's birthday. So happy belated Christopher.
Aww. Yeah. Next up, we have some days online. Cute little stories here. First off, we're going to say happy anniversary to Stephen Nichols and his wife Lisa, and they posted this past week that their daughter Dylan actually got engaged to her fiance Alex. He popped the question on the Stephen and Lisa's 40th anniversary, and yeah, just a special sort of full circle moment there with those two. So here's a picture of Stephen and Lisa's wife Dylan being proposed to by her fiance Alex. So big congrats to them as they begin their journey, and a happy anniversary to Stephen and Lisa on 40 years. Yeah. Then we have some fun here on the Days Peacock. As you know, we have Galen, Sherry, and soon to be new family member Al. Decided to have some little fun and commemorate, I think, the expansion of the Hernandez family. If you haven't seen it, go take a look. They sort of do a play on the sort of latest viral challenge / meme, the In the Club sort of.
We all fam.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really funny. It's cute. Go check it out at Days Peacock. And also, while you're there, you can check out Abigail Klein sat down for the Days social media room for Around the Trivia Tuesday. And her question was, where was Stephanie born and where did she grow up? See if you're correct. Head over to at Days Peacock to see how your answer measures up.
Yes. And that concludes our regular scheduled events. We have some upcoming events, starting off with a Zoom that's happening tomorrow. Star Image Entertainment has a Q&A Zoom with Melissa Reeves and Matthew Ashford. If you want to go to attend, go to eventbrite.ca/Star Image Entertainment for tickets.
Yes, and the time is almost here. We are less than a week away from the infamous Day of Days, as we've been telling you about for the last few months, happening next weekend, or specifically next Saturday, November 2nd, live at the Peacock LA Live Theater, hosted by our very own Mr. Tony Moore. It will be a very different Day of Days than the Day of Days in the past. So all information, please go to www.peacockdayofdays.com and also look under the frequently asked questions to get a little bit more insight to the run of show and sort of run of day. As we said, it's going to be a little bit different this year. Hopefully some changes made for the better. So, yeah.
And there are a couple of other events that are happening in and around Day of Days. The day before, on Friday, November 1st, will be the Yesterdays with a twist event. Unfortunately, Peter Porte will not be able to attend this event due to a scheduling conflict. So in his place will be Julie Dove and Remington Hoffman. For tickets and information for this and all other Starstruck fan events, go to starstruckfanevents.com.
Yes, and if you cannot make that one, but are still interested in having hang out for Day of Days weekend, you can attend the Ladies of Hollywood. This is an exclusive cocktail and dinner party happening the Friday night before, 5:30 to 9:30. Tickets and info, email Lori Beth at LoriMatrix@yahoo.com. And as you can see in attendance, we have Stacey Hyduke, Ely Cantu, Nadia Bjorland, Emily O'Brien, Patricia Darbo, and a newly added, oh god, why I can't say
Courtney Hope.
That's right. Yes, Courtney Hope
Young and the Restless.
the past couple weeks. Yes.
Sally.
So yeah, all tickets info, go to LoriMatrix@yahoo.com.
Yes, and last but not least, the night of Day of Days, the day players, which would be Brandon Barash, Eric Martzoff, Wally Kurth, and Kirsten Boatman, will be playing at the Bourbon Room that night, Saturday, November 22nd. This is in addition to the set that they will be doing at Day of Days. They will be doing a special performance, but for an extended performance time, please go to thedayplayersband.com for tickets and information on that. This will be the last time you can see the Day Players in 2024 until their 2 concerts in November, and then they are off for the new year to I believe their February 2025 shows will be in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Atlanta, Georgia. And for their November tour dates, they will actually be joined by castmate Leo Howard.
Before we head off of the day players, my mother went and saw the day players this past Saturday in Raleigh, North Carolina. Shout out to the day players for treating my mom and her best friend Kat so well. They got to stay for the Q&A and meet them. So Mama Moore was in the hizzle for shizzle with the day players, and she said she had an amazing time. That she was like, they can all sing. So she had they had a great time. So thanks guys for treating my mom and her bestie so well. They really enjoyed the show. So thank you.
Aww.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. And that was news and gossip. And now it's time to find out what's coming up on this week's episodes of Peacock's Days of Our Lives.
I'm back.
Philip. I'm Victor's son, too! Son of a bitch.
Hola, prima. We're shaking.
It's been so long. It's really you?
You just take care of my son.
Enjoy the ride. No!
Looks like we have the place to ourselves. You sure?
I am.
Now, see, that's what Johnny should have done before walking into the room. A little
knock.
Yeah.
Knock. Well,
next Philip yelling already.
Next week is.
I'm already annoyed.
Next week is going to be a doozy.
But we will not be here.
We will not. We will be too tired from Day of Days. So we will not be doing a show next week, but we will be back on November 9th to talk about those week's episodes and maybe a splash of the week before. But we hope to see you guys at Day of Days and any of the other events that are happening in Los Angeles. And that has been Dishin Days. But before we head out, Stefan in black t-shirt. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter/X at MLMattis.
Dr. Blake, Seth, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And of course, Medusa Marlena.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And if you want to be a Salem stalker and stalk me without the killing part or without anything that's going to frighten me, you can find me on all social media platforms at Loungin' with Tony. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. And of course, you can check us out on all social media platforms. Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are only 50 people away from 4,000 subscribers. Yay! So go subscribe. And make sure you hit the like buttons and, do all that, I hope you all have an amazing week. We hope to see you this Saturday in Los Angeles for Day of Days. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. Enjoy yourself. And don't forget to tune in to Peacock's Days of Our Lives, Monday through Friday, starting at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. No, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whatever, I don't know. Y'all take care now. You hear? Bye, and happy Halloween.